There is a loophole for the usage of the wildcard in the latest World Cup fantasy. Watch to the end to find out how you can get unlimited transfers in all the 3 match days. Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video I will be sharing my thoughts, captaincy picks and team selection ahead of matchday 1. We'll start off with what is a 1-week punt in this team. There is currently a wildcard loophole in the game that allows you to have unlimited transfers for all the 3 match days. In this version of the game, there isn't deadlines to make transfers. There is a new system that involves locked players and unlocked players. So, let's say Trippier plays on a Monday, and as soon as the first whistle is blown, he becomes a locked player, while Diogo Costa, who plays later in the week on a Thursday, is still an unlocked player. Transferring out a locked player for another player would include the new player in the following matchday. However, if you transfer out an unlocked player for another unlocked player, so let's say in this case Diogo Costa hasn't played yet and I want to bring in the Uruguayan goalkeeper, I can do just that and still have him play for me in the same matchday I made the transfer. Now, with wildcards, the time you activate it is when you can make your unlimited transfers, but the good thing is that it lasts right up till the last game in the round is played. This can be used to our advantage as we could transfer out locked players as soon as they play in matchday 2, and because they are locked, the players brought in will be featured in the following matchday. With that loophole, you could have unlimited transfers for both matchday 2 and 3. A system I do like for a shorter version of the game that is only 1 month long. It allows a lot of different teams and you will see signs of that in my selection. We obviously start off with Messi and I have talked a lot about him in my previous videos. I'll just say that if you don't own him, you are in for a rough start in the game. They face arguably the worst team in the competition and the scoreline could honestly end ugly. I will start off by captaining him as he does play pretty early in the week. Because this is just a 1-week draft, it would be abysmal not to include Lautaro. As I just stated, this is as good as a fixture can get, and why wouldn't you pick someone who is in form in club football, who has 2 of the best ever providers, and is the main talisman for the side? This seems a no-brainer for a 1-week draft that this is. I did talk about Griezmann a lot in my previous video, and he becomes even more tempting as Benzema was just ruled out of the World Cup, which nails Griezmann's spot even more. He has looked great in the last 3 international competitions and he is only 1.2% owned, a great differential in one of the best fixtures this matchday. Speaking of Benzema being ruled out, I had said previously how Mbappe's goal scoring threat is reduced by quite a bit with the Real Madrid's number 9 in the side. He now isn't going to be part of the World Cup, which means Mbappe will also be on penalties. I didn't have the funds to bring him in and I also didn't want to sacrifice any of my other premiums, and so I am going into matchday 1 with the 12th man chip and hopefully it pays off. As you can see, these are my forwards done and there is no Kane in the side. This is solely due to the fact that Iran is a very solid side defensively, not having conceded more than 2 goals in the game since February of this year. And with England also being very defensive, I fully see this game ending 0-0 or a 1-0 in England's favour. So spending 11 million for a ceiling of 8 points isn't worth it to me, as my other picks are more explosive. Moving on to the midfield, and we start off with Paul, an all-rounder midfielder who sometimes does take corners for the side. This is quite important as midfielders do get extra points for key passes. He also puts in quite a few tackles, which would also increase his point tally. He is a gem, playing for one of the best sides and being priced at only 5 million. Speaking of cheap gems, Skov Olsen from Denmark, who faces Tunisia in their opening fixture. He was the top scorer for the Danes in the World Cup qualifiers and has shown great promise in the league this season. All this does equate to having a great World Cup campaign. There aren't any other reliable options to go for around that price point, and thus he becomes almost essential in any draft out there. Bergwijn up next, and because it's a 1-week draft and there are basically no better options at that price point considering he is going to play a weakened Senegal without the star man Mane, and that he will be playing out of position as a striker. He won't be getting you those key passes and tackles though, so if you do want more of that, I would suggest to look at Kimmich, who faces a tougher Japan in matchday 1. I have talked a lot about De Bruyne in the last 2 videos. Although he didn't look good in the 2-1 loss to Egypt, but I do think he bounces back against Canada, who have been charmed as a leaky side of late. He will be my second choice captain if Messi does blank against Saudi Arabia. Again, only because this is a one-week draft, I've included Bruno, who faces one of the worst sides in the competition. Portugal are coming in with a strong run of form, with their wins being pretty high scoring. We also did see that in their recent friendly against Nigeria, who they beat 4-0 with this man Fernandes picking up 2 goals. Not to mention they did start the game without their main man up top. Once Ronaldo comes into the side, I would expect Bruno to get involved as much in attack and also get key passes points on top of that. This can really boost his points for this match day. We can now move on to defense, and we start off with Trippier. England do line up as a back 5, and that is optimal for players such as Trippier, who play as wing back. This gives England a good defensive cover, and it also does allow the likes of Trippier to get forward and provide an odd assist. Not to mention he is on all corners and free kicks, so that could mean a few more goals or assists that come from there. Another English wingback in Luke Shaw up next. They did start him in every game in the Euros last year, and he ended the competition with 4 goal involvements to his name, with a goal coming in the final. Like Trippier, he is an attacking wingback who does also have good defensive cover, and all those combined with England's fixtures makes both of them a great pick for this game. Mile up next, and he was tied with Olsen for goals in the qualifiers for Denmark, and he played it right back. Defenders get 7 points for scoring, which makes it crucial to own players such as this in your sides. He faces Tunisia in Matchday 1, who don't look the best side in defense, so it could be a feast for the Danish right back. Australia don't seem to have a lot of attacking threat in their squad, which makes them a perfect target to earn defensive points. Pavard from France gives us a nailed option over the likes of Theo Hernandez, who could be rotated for Farland Mendy, and Pavard also gives us the chance at an odd attacking return, which makes him a great pick only at 5 million. Lastly, a player who I have brought in because of the whole wildcard loophole. Jordi Alba faces Costa Rica, who seem to be favourites to bottom their Group E. With Japan, Germany and Spain all in their group, I don't expect them to even score a goal, let alone qualify for the round of 16. This makes Alba a great pick for this game, and he has made that left back spot his own in the last few years for his national side. On to the keepers, and we start off with the Qatari Saad Al Sheib. Qatar have played the most football before the competition, which is really important as it does build team chemistry. They face Ecuador tonight, which seems like a tough fixture for them, but historically, the host nation does perform quite well in international competitions, and being priced at only 4 million, he is probably the best 4 million option for the opening day because of the home crowd. Lastly, to finish the 11 is Diogo Costa. He comes in at only 5 million, playing for a well-equipped side defensively in Portugal, who are facing one of the worst attacks in the competition. Not to mention he is a penalty specialist, so penalties are in favor of the keeper whenever Costa does play. That wraps up my Matchday 1 team selection. Thanks for watching. See you soon for the next one.